We have a lot of young leaders of the future in the audience here from both sides of the Atlantic. John Hume, I wonder if you might give us or give them some advice on the qualities of political leadership. I mean, you took a lot of flack right through the process from starting to talk to Sinn Féin. People were on your back a lot of the time. What advice would you give young people about political leadership and taking important steps?
Well, it's a very difficult question. My advice to young people is, of course, that if they're getting involved in politics, then they're obviously going to be involved with some political party, and that they should understand fully and clearly what the objectives of that party are and how they're going to achieve those objectives. And of course, given that we are a divided society, and that division goes to the heart of our problems, that one of the challenges put to the younger generation is that their generation would be the generation that would break down those barriers, and that we would move into a society where politics would be normal and not be divided as we are in the past on religious basis.
Yeah. Senator, political leadership, what qualities do these people need to develop, these young people?
Well, I assume you're talking about democratic societies.
Yes.
I
don't know if any of you want to become dictators. No.
Open election processes. Well, that
would be nice.
It's a very important distinction.
Yes, of course it is.
Every political leader, elected leader, constantly faces a never-ending tension between the demands of one's immediate constituency and the needs of the larger society. Nowhere was that more evident than in Northern Ireland at the time of the conflict, where you had sharply divided societies, where while there was a common objective, which was get it done, it was conveyed with another message, is get it done our way, and the two ways were different. And in the end, you have to use your own judgment and conscience to do what's best for the larger society. It's very common in democratic societies, certainly here in the UK and Ireland and the US, with which we're now most immediately familiar, to ridicule, demean political leaders, and much of it is well earned. But I think on the whole, the political leaders here on the stage from the UK and Ireland, and specifically the political leaders of Northern Ireland, demonstrated at a critical juncture in their society's history a great deal of courage and leadership. So if you want examples of courageous political leadership, I would say look at the men and women on this stage and others who've been mentioned here who are not here this evening, for acting for the common good at a critical stage in their history. And I'll make one final point. It's important to look back and recognize what happened 10 years ago, but it's even more important to do two other things. To recognize that it was not an isolated event. It was part of a long historical process that in its modern version covers a 40-year period and is still going on as we speak right now, and will go on for a very long time. And it will be necessary that the people of Northern Ireland elect political leaders who have this, at crucial moments in history, have the same courage and vision and foresight which all of these leaders, all human, all imperfect, all with failings, but at the critical moment in history, they did the right thing.